Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hello.
It's Monday the 20th, and I don't have my quote, doggone it, but I do have a guest, Kelly Edwards. She's a lady that you see on all the design shows. She's got a lot of fun design stuff that she does, and we're going to be talking about designing tips for your kitchen. So there you go. Kitchen needs some design every once in a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to do that. Here's my quote page. All right, I was on the wrong page, but here it is. Thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle. Happiness never decreases by being shared. That is from Buddha. So that's our quote for today. So,
Alrighty.
I like that. You can light a lot of candles with one candle. So there you go. Go out and smile and, pass that on today. Scientific staffing company in Illinois did research to find the most effective way for companies to retain scientific professionals. According to the study, the best way is to give them better pay and benefits. Really? You had to do a study for that? I could have told you that. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It's Monday, March the 20th. Today is Alien Abduction Day. Have you ever been abducted by aliens?
I have not.
Nor have I. It is also Bed In for Peace Day. That's from John and Yoko. They were saying stay in bed for peace. We should have stayed in bed today. Mm-hmm. You could be my Yoko. I'm already John. And we could just, stay in bed and say peace. Okay, maybe not. Great American Meat Out Day. M-E-A-T, out day. I don't know what that means. Apparently you're supposed to go out to eat and have a bunch of meat. I don't know. International Day of Happiness. French Language Day. Oui, oui.
French.
Kiss Your Fiancé Day. National Native HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. Proposal Day. Burn a Snowman Day.
What?
Spring Equinox is today. Vernal Equinox. Today is the first day of spring. Oh, that's cool. Well Elderly or Welderly Day. Storytelling Day. Won't You Be My Neighbor Day. World Day of Theater for Children and Young People Day. A lot of stuff going on today. Get out there and celebrate with the aliens and snowmen.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi. Join us for 80s in the Sand, a week-long 80s event this November 11th through the 18th in beautiful Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic.
Meet and listen to 80s bands like Loverboy, Starship, Howard Jones, and many more.
Plus, meet 80s icons from the movies like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. In Federal Way, Washington, a 14-year-old girl was spotted running through a parking lot, hyperventilating, after being doused with gasoline and beaten.
Oh my gosh.
Who do you think would do that to a child? Well, her mama. Police say her mother, 44-year-old Lisa Kiles, did it to, quote, punish her for getting bad grades on a test.
Oh my gosh.
However, Kiles pled not guilty to attempted first-degree assault and felony harassment. The girl was placed with Child Protective Services.
Well, I would hope so.
Court documents give this account. The girl was in the family's van when a 22-year-old brother came and became upset after learning she got a bad grade and punched her in the head about 20 times. When he left for work that evening, he directed their mother to handle the situation. Kiles allegedly hit her daughter in the knee, shin, and hand with a tire iron, whipped her with a phone charger and jumper cables, then doused her in gasoline while flicking a lighter near her clothing.
Oh, my gosh.
And threatening to kill her. Again, she got a bad grade on a test. The girl later estimated she was beaten by her family for 3 hours. She was able to jump out of the van and seek help from people in an apartment complex parking lot. That's when witnesses stepped in to protect the girl. Kiles allegedly told them, "It's my daughter, and I can discipline her however I want."
Oh, my gosh.
Turns out she was wrong. She's getting to go to court over all this now. So here's the thing. I want our kids to have good grades as much as the next person. But that is taking it way too far. I mean, the brother punching her in the head 20 times, the mother smacking her with a tire iron, dousing her with gasoline.
It's not like the brother is extra super successful. He's 22 years
Apparently.
old and still living at home and picking on his sister for getting bad grades.
Apparently,
Go get your own
So,
life,
I don't know.
loser.
And again, I would want her to get good grades too. I'm glad that you want her to succeed in life by getting good grades.
Wow.
But I can't believe that you would treat her that way and expect that she's going to be happy no matter what happens with her grades. I mean, that's just crazy. But you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is your brain on drugs. You've heard of DUI. How about BUI? Biking under the influence. Happened. They busted a drunk man in Cincinnati. Officers say they stopped Archie Johnson after seeing his bicycle swerving. They reported his blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit, Heidi. That's a lot. So he's charged with operating a vehicle under the influence and resisting arrest. Yeah, apparently.
Seriously?
Because he was on the street. So if you ride a bicycle on the street, that is a vehicle.
Wow.
What do you think it should
That is
be?
ridiculous. I mean, public intoxication, maybe.
Yeah, he got that too. No, he got resisting arrest and operating a vehicle
That
under
is
the influence.
ridiculous. That last one is ridiculous.
Well, officers, you're going to have to talk to Heidi about that one. She disagrees.
So if you were on a skateboard, would you get operating
Probably.
a vehicle while
There's
intoxicated?
a
That's
dude that
so
did
stupid.
a guy that got pulled over in a wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair.
But that's got a motor. That's
Okay.
different.
So there
It's
you
a
go.
bicycle.
All right, coming up, we're gonna talk
I
about.
mean, worst case scenario, you run somebody over and what, they got a little nick on their shin? I mean,
Okay.
I'm sorry, but that's just ridiculous.
Endangering others. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
okay.
So, all right, coming up, your moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh from Louisiana, where a mailman was sprayed with his own dog repellent. A mailman making his rounds in Slidell, Louisiana, around midday on Saturday, a very owly, growling, not-so-happy dog approached him. The postman whipped out his can of government-issued dog repellent and sprayed it towards the snarling dog. That's when the owner of said dog, Mr. Joe Bates, came rushing to his dog's aid, grabbed the can, and started spraying the mailman in the face. Yeah. The postal worker took off, but not fast enough. He got squarely hit in the back by the spray can as he was running. Bates threw it as he was running away.
Yikes.
He was arrested later for aggravated battery. So there you go. Can't even imagine treating another human being that way.
No.
And I'm not saying that I would want my dog to get sprayed
no,
either.
I mean,
Our
if somebody
dog,
sprayed my dogs.
I would be upset, but our dogs are very barky and jumpy, but we wouldn't put them in a situation where they'd be attacking someone that's delivering stuff to us. And our dogs are tiny.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if somebody sprayed my dogs
It
because
does
they were
not say
barking
what
at
kind
them.
of dog, but I don't know that matters. But either way, there's your moment of duh for this Monday.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. I've got a fun story to start with here. 2 thieves abandoned their rental car in Port of Spain, Trinidad, and they escaped, leaving a sheep and 3 goats in the car. Okay? The sheep were wearing a dress and the goats were wearing shirts and pants and hats. Police think the thieves, because they got away, so they don't know for sure, they think the thieves dressed the animals to avert suspicion. But here's what they didn't think of. Turning their headlights on when it got dark out. They're driving around with their headlights off. They got pulled over. That's more suspicious than driving around with farm animals wearing dresses and shirts and hats. All right. After a half a dozen pharmacy burglaries in Tustin, California, I believe is how you say it, they decided enough is enough. They decided that we're going to figure out a way to outsmart these thieves, and they did. They took some cough syrup that had been stolen over and over and over. They took some at another pharmacy that was in the same area and put a GPS device in the bottle, and it was stolen. Sure enough, the pharmacy was hit. The cops tracked the GPS, and they found 2 suspects who had been swiping all the syrups. In Rhode Island, a guy did a Facebook Live broadcast as he was driving at high speed. He was going 115 miles an hour, weaving in and out of traffic. Then he smashed into a garbage truck going 90. Yeah, he did live to tell about it, but it took the firefighters 20 minutes to get him out of his Honda. Yeah, that is just nuts. If there's anything that could leave you feeling down in the dumps, how about a giant snake in your toilet? That would be awful.
Yeah, that would be awful.
Residents in a South African town of Pretoria have been a little hysterical after finding an 8-foot snouted cobra in their toilet. The commode cobra could have gotten through the plumbing system, but the residents were more concerned about getting it out. So far, professional snake catchers have had no luck, and they still have no idea where the snake is hiding right now. Residents are reportedly considering eradication methods like pouring acid down the pipes and pouring hot water before they use the bathroom. That would
make sense to pour hot water before you use the bathroom. I don't know if I would do acid. Wouldn't that eat right through your pipes?
I have no idea.
I think that's a bad idea.
Any of these are good ideas. I'm just saying that's what they're doing. Hey, the Geneva, Switzerland Ethics Committee on Non-Human Gene Technology has issued a report on the dignity of the creature in the plant world. Okay? They declared that plants deserve respect and that killing them arbitrarily, for instance, decapitating them without reason, is morally wrong. However, they did not object to genetic engineering of plants, since it didn't interfere with the autonomy or ability to reproduce. You following this so far, Heidi?
People are insane.
They ruled that a certain cruel act that kills plants are okay, such as using plants to save a human life, or even the simple pleasure of picking the petals off a daisy might suffice as the reason. So they're saying you cannot cut flowers anymore without being charged with decapitation? What?
So stupid.
This is in Geneva, Switzerland, the Ethics Committee on Non-Human Gene Technology.
What are they going to eat? I mean, I'm sure they have a problem with cutting up animals, too. So if you can't eat animals and you can't eat plants, what are you going to live on?
Pixie dust?
Stupid.
I wish you would just cut through the clutter and tell me what you really think, Heidi. Come on! Recent report shows America will have a shortage of doctors by about 52,000 less doctors than we need by the year 2025. So, if you want to become a doctor, now's a good time to start. Spoonful of sugar makes the willpower go up, according to a series of studies that suggest fueling your brain with sweets can strengthen your self-control. Really?
Hasn't worked well for me.
A lifetime of studies for me tell you that you're wrong. They say you don't need to swallow to get the benefits of the sweetness. Simply swishing a glucose-laden drink in your mouth and spitting it out can boost your self-control and willpower for tasks like squeezing a hand grip to completing an impossible brain teaser. That's the problem. I'm not spitting it out. I'm just consuming it. That's where I went wrong. Coming up, we've got a couple of fun facts and a special guest on the way on this Monday.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now from HGTV's Design on a Dime. We have Kelly Edwards. She's also the host of Style Network's Tacky House. In addition to her weekly television programs, she's been the design expert for Shelter Pop, host of a bunch of different programs, and even has a new book. It's called Design Cookbook, Recipes for a Stylish Home. And we've got her on the line right now, Kelly Edwards. Kelly, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Very good. Appreciate you taking some time to chat with us here. We're going to help our listeners kind of get their place updated and looking awesome right now. And we got some great ideas, don't we?
Absolutely, especially for your kitchen.
When you're buying a home, that's one of the rooms that you walk in and you really spend a lot of time in, because we spend a lot of time in our kitchens, period, don't we?
Absolutely. I mean, I think out of all the places in your home, they say that the kitchen is spent in the most. Obviously, they always say the kitchen is the heart of the home, right? That's because that's where everybody eats and gathers. And I know every time I have people at my house, we're always in the kitchen for sure.
And that's the thing. Like when, we'll be watching the TV programs when people are looking to buy homes, and they're always focused on that kitchen. And boy, they need new cupboards. They need new this. They need new that. And that's all stuff that you can really do. And some of it is stuff you can do yourself. Let's talk about some of the top kitchen trends for 2017. What kind of things are you seeing, Kelly?
So I would say if you're in the market to get a new kitchen, I think as far as trends go, I think you should stick with your cabinetry first. Obviously, your cabinetry is the largest and it's the most striking feature in your kitchen. And just like last year in terms of trends, gray seems to be the favorite neutral again, which I love because I love gray.
Yeah.
Now, I know you can't see it, but I'm actually standing in a studio that has these gorgeous Martha Stewart Living Pure Style cabinets in Sharky Gray. They are stunning. Everyone needs to check those out. I love them because they have a great base. They're made with recycled wood, and they have durability as well as storage. Now, the ones that I have are gray, but these actually come in a diverse palette of colors. So let's say you want something maybe on the white side or a little creamy. They have those too. They actually, what I love about these here is that normally when you see cabinets, you see them and you're like, the paint grade isn't that great. This actually has better coverage than a lot of paint and wood grains, which I love. They resist heat, moisture, and as well as stains. So let's say you get a stain on the cabinet, you basically get a damp cloth, wipe it down. That's super easy. And then it also has this hidden functionality, which means you can hide all your trash cans, your recycling bins, as well as your pet feeders. And of course, it has this beautiful inlay detail, which I think makes it stand apart from other cabinets. But now, in terms of changing out your cabinets, a lot of people sometimes say, well, I don't have the money to change out my cabinets, and I don't know what to do, but I want to kind of give it a refresher. Honestly, I tell everyone, simply by changing out your hardware, you can do that too. It will completely transform the look. Now, in my kitchen, I have brushed nickel, but if you don't want brushed nickel, you can go with chrome, you can go with gold, or in terms of trends like you were just talking about, matte black is really big for 2017.
And changing out that hardware is a pretty simple thing. So even if you're maybe not in a position where you can say, hey, I'm going to change out my entire kitchen, if you can kind of freshen up your cabinets, if they're outdated, maybe throw some paint on there, make those look good, and then freshen them up with some new hardware. The hardware is pretty easy, and that's something most people can probably do on their own, can't they?
Yeah, you know what, they can. You want to know a good trick? A good trick for putting your knobs on the cabinetry is you basically take a piece of cardboard and do a template. So you put the holes in the cardboard where the holes in the new knobs or the new pulls will be, and you use that as a template. So you just hold it up to every cabinet and only drill into those spots so you know that you always drill in the right place. So that's a good tip when you're changing out your hardware, and that's how easy it is to do for anyone at home.
That's a lot better than the way I do it. I just start drilling holes till I find one that looks about right. So
yeah, you can't do that. Can't do that.
Got this Swiss cheese look going. Again, on the line right now with Kelly Edwards, and host of Design on a Dime and also on Style Network's Tacky House. And now in your line of work in your career, you get to see some kind of interesting, scary projects that you get to work on as well. But when you go into the kitchen, you know, there are some of those projects that are kind of scary. But again, for the most part, a lot of the things that you can do in there are things that people can do on their own. If somebody wants to create the perfect space without splurging, what would be maybe one simple tip that they could do to really give it a nice facelift without breaking the bank?
You know, you can do your faucet, actually. Now, other than your cabinets, the faucet is the most used thing in your kitchen. And obviously, you want it to be stylish as well as functional. The one that I particularly love that people can use is the Kohler Barossa Touchless. This is great because it has that high arc. So if you have those large pots, a lot of times people have a hard time cleaning those. This actually makes it easy. It also has touchless activation, which to me is the future. It's actually their touchless technology that has a state-of-the-art sensor which prevents false activations. It has a stainless steel finish, scratch shield technology, and honestly, when it's paired with the Kohler Whitehaven sink, it is so gorgeous. It almost looks like a farmhouse sink.
The price on that stuff is a lot more affordable than it used to be as well.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, back in the day, it used to be really expensive. Now you walk in and you can get a touchless faucet for basically nothing. And honestly, it's just by changing out the knobs, changing out the hardware, changing out the faucet, it can make a huge difference, even if you can't do your cabinets. Now, I do want to mention one thing about the cabinets, because a lot of people do get very confused when buying cabinetry, and they really just don't know what direction to go. So if you have that problem, the thing to remember is you can buy two different types of cabinets. You can buy custom cabinetry, or you can, of course, buy in-stock cabinetry. And both options are perfect for you, honestly, depending on your budget and depending on your time. So if you go into Home Depot, you can either buy them online or in the store. And And if you decide to go with customizable, you basically don't have to go to a big kitchen shop. You can basically walk into Home Depot, find a kitchen designer, and have them create your dream kitchen, because they seriously have everything that anybody could want in their kitchen, from waterfall islands to frameless to creative colors like maybe deep navy, which a lot of people didn't realize that they'd love until they actually see it. And they also have a lot of big names like Thomasville Studio, 1904, Craftmade, or American Woodmark. Now, the other thing to think about is that if you want to buy the fully stocked, the Hampton Bay shaker cabinets in satin white look so classic. And seriously, I mean, whether you have a modern house, a traditional house, or a transitional house, I think it would look great in in any of those spaces. And of course, they're fully in stock, so you don't have to worry about that. They have a next day pickup, or they ship in 48 hours. So if you're timing that you want your kitchen done now, you can absolutely get those.
That's awesome. And one of the other things that's nice about going to Home Depot is if you're redoing that kitchen, they can help with appliances and other things too. So pretty much everything on the list you can get in one spot, which is kind of nice. You don't have to drive all over the place.
Oh my gosh, it's a one-stop shop. I mean, seriously, you can even get countertops. And countertops, honestly, right now, the countertops, a lot of people back in the day used to love marble because everyone loves kind of that natural stone look. But what everyone's going towards now is simply sticking with the quartz because it's scratch and stain resistant. And it also comes in a variety of patterns, sheens, and colors that no matter what you see there, you can certainly find something for your home. So it's literally, you can go in and get everything from your stove to your countertop to your hardware to your cabinetry. Everything is there for you, and they really make it easy.
Very nice. Kelly, where can folks go online to learn a little more about you and maybe find some more cool tips?
They can go to HomeDepot.com, and everything will be there. But if you're not a DIYer and you certainly need a little bit of help, you can actually go into a Home Depot store, find a trusted kitchen designer, and I promise you that they will create a kitchen of your dreams.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, Kelly. It's always a pleasure. You have a wonderful day.
Oh, you too. Thanks so much for having me.
Again, our guest today has been Kelly Edwards from HGTV's Design on a Dime and also Style Network's Tacky House. And I want to remind you that she has a new book as well. It is a design book called Design Cookbook, Recipes for a Stylish Home, and that is available right now. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstone saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it, too. Learn how you can use his system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Watch a few videos there for free. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code Radio20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In Australia, a common Boxing Day activity is surfing. Now, Boxing Day is like the day after Christmas, right?
I believe so.
Why
yeah.
do they call it Boxing Day, I wonder?
I don't know. You box up all the boxes?
Box up all the Christmas stuff, I'll bet. There you go. See, now you know. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
In the 1930s, American track star Jesse Owens used to race against horses and dogs to earn a living. He was faster than people, so they're like, okay, we're going to have you race this dog and these two horses. Go. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first recorded car theft was in 1896, just 10 years after the introduction of the first car.
Alrighty.
So, took 10 years before somebody finally said, hey, I want one of those, and I'm going to just take it. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first company to mass-produce teddy bears was a company called the Ideal Toy Company. So there you go. And one final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Pez mint dispenser was first introduced as it was supposed to replace the activity of smoking.
Yeah.
So when the Pez dispenser first came out, that was supposed to be kind of like lighting a cigarette, with your lighter. And that was supposed to be a way for you to quit smoking. So.
I absolutely love
I know you
Pez
do.
dispensers.
I know you have I don't know if you still have it.
I don't still have my collection. I had
collection
a
of
big
them.
collection, but I don't anymore.
Then we got married and you threw caution to the wind and got rid of them. Couple of fun facts for you right there on a Monday.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to RadioLottoPool.com and join today. Again, that website is RadioLottoPool.com.
You've probably heard this before. Choose a career you love, something that interests you,
And you never have to work again.
Yeah, you've heard this before. Well, it turns out that is great advice, Heidi. Research shows that if you are emotionally attached to your job, you will perform better, you will feel more satisfied, and you will be healthier all around. That's cool. Imagine how awful I'd be feeling if I didn't like what I do.
If you didn't like your job.
No, I've kind of got a little bit of a sore throat thing going right now. The study from the Journal of Occupational and Environmental Medicine split almost 5,000 Danish elder care workers into 300 different groups, and they studied them for 18 months. What they found is the teams of employees who were devoted to their jobs were not just more committed as a group, they were also physically and psychologically healthier as individuals. They were sleeping more soundly, and they were taking fewer sick days than workers who could not really give a care. Really? So you're saying workers who don't care don't show up as much?
Wow.
It says here, if you count the seconds to you, do you count the seconds till you can escape your desk? If that's the case, maybe you should start thinking of something else to do. If you're fantasizing about winning the lotto so you can scoot out of here, scientists say, find something you truly enjoy. And put it another way, do what you want, and often in life, you're going to probably find more happiness by doing things that you like.
Probably.
All of this from Men's Fitness, by the way. And I had this advice given to me when I was like 19 or 18 years old. I had a very wise person say, make your hobby your career and you'll never work a day in your life. And I was like, wow. So if I can find somebody to pay me to goof around and tell stupid jokes. Oh, wait, radio? Yes, I can do this. So, and the rest, as they say, is history. All right, coming up, we've got a lady that was putting her fingers in all the wrong places. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Hey, it's John and Heidi inviting you to join us for a party in paradise.
This is a week-long event with 80s music from over a dozen awesome bands.
And 80s movie and TV icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and several others.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
We'll even get together to have some drinks with you.
Book your week-long 80s vacation now at 80sinthesand.com.
That's 80sinthesand.com.
Heidi, I don't know why, but this story absolutely freaks me out, and I would not want to be in this situation. There's a young lady named Elizabeth Mefford. She got her hand stuck in the 7-Eleven store safe. She was dropping rolls of coins in the safe, but the rolls kept getting stuck in there, so she used her finger to push them further into the chute, trying to get them to stay put, and she got her finger stuck in that hole.
Okay.
And she couldn't get it out. Short time later, she was on a gurney with a 3-foot-tall, 600-pound safe attached to her hand.
Oh, my gosh.
Paramedics drove her straight past a hospital to an industrial shop where workers used a small crane to lift Mefford and the safe onto a makeshift operating table. Workers removed the safe's locking mechanism and then freed her hand. Can you imagine how freaky that would be? I mean,
I bet it hurt just trying to load her into the ambulance. If that
moving
safe got,
anytime you jostle that around, that would hurt.
Yeah.
I have the end of this finger right here, that fingernail got busted off when I was in high school. It's still a little different than my other finger because I got it slammed in a locker. So that was so painful. I can only imagine what this lady went through. So I feel for you, lady. A Chinese woman is seeking compensation after a car accident that left her unable to eat properly and causes her to suffer from short-term memory loss. But she's not suing because of those things. She's suing because she claims the accident left her with 2 broken front teeth and a cut lip, and it's hindered her ability to kiss. Yeah.
So fix your teeth.
She's suing the driver that caused the accident for $4,700.
It's worth $4,700, huh?
Yeah, that the lawsuit says the driver is being deprived of her womanly rights to her body, health, and kissing and property. I don't know what that means. Legal experts say China's legal system does not cover kissing rights, but her case could fall under compensation regulations based on personal damages. So there you go. I don't know. $4,700. I can't imagine that the insurance would fight that, but because that's not much. Usually when people are suing for things that are weird like that,
that's in this country.
I know.
I don't think they get away with that.
$7 million. Why? Because I can't kiss no more. How about we just jam some Tic Tacs in there?
How about we fix your teeth and
fix that
then
smile?
You can
now
kiss.
You're good to go. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about kids hard at work.
John
Many people go to college, but when they graduate, they've racked up a ton of debt. Not everyone, though. Matthew Einstein saved over $70,000 on a top-rate education. Then, after everyone wanted to know how he did it, he built a system to show you how to do it too. Learn how you can use this system for yourself or for your kids. Go to freeeducationuniversity.com. Sign up now and get a free 60-minute private consultation with Matthew. That's freeeducationuniversity.com. Use promo code RADIO20 to save 20%.
John and Heidi.
All work and no play makes Johnny a dull boy, right?
I suppose.
All right. It says here, the American Academy of Pediatrics has some thoughts on this. They say that kids need more good old-fashioned playtime for healthy development. Do you think you got enough playtime as a kid?
I think so.
Do you think I got enough playtime as a kid?
Probably not.
I don't think I did. We were working at a very young age. I remember mowing a lawn when I couldn't reach the handle on the top, and they made it back then where that's when they started the whole grass. So we had to like tape that up so we could push the mower in the middle bar. So not saying
That
it
is
was
so dangerous.
not saying it was a good idea. I'm just saying that's what we did. Anyway. They say parents can overdo it on the educational videos and classes to help kids excel. They're saying just let them have fun. Let them play. Don't make them mow the lawn.
They're going to be adults
6.
for the rest of their lives. Just let them be kids.
And this goes for organized sports activities too, like soccer and all the other little things, t-ball and all the things you're putting the kids in. They're saying let your kids run around and have fun. They're still being told what to do if they're in these other things. And if they're being told what to do, they're not able to run around and have fun.
They're not having fun. Exactly.
Numerous
Let them be
studies now
kids.
have shown that the unstructured play can help children become creative and can help them discover their own passions, can help them discover problem-solving skills, and help them relate to others and adjust to school settings. Plus, it's just a whole lot of fun. So there you go. I think that's a good idea, to have a little more fun in your life as a kid. Because like Heidi said, you're going to be an adult for a long time.
That's right.
If there are some things that if I could do it over again, like I didn't get involved in a lot of stuff when I was younger because I just didn't. I didn't have time. I look back and go, man, I would have liked to have been involved in some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I try to make up for it now that I'm older. I'm involved in too many things.
Yeah, that's true.
Heidi is not a joiner. I'm a joiner. I'm involved in a lot of stuff. She's like, yeah, have fun at that. See ya. I'm going back to bed now. All right. We've got some good news. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news. Rob Laughlin's little girl, Sadie, has what is called nonverbal autism. So attempting to convey what she needed or what she was feeling to her mom and dad was really frustrating. That is the reason that Rob made a revolutionary new app. It's called Tippy Talk. It's helping his daughter and now other people say what they need or what they feel and what they require. If you know somebody that has a child that suffers with nonverbal autism, this is something that is helping others that are in that same field.
What does it do?
It's a way for them to communicate. It's a tablet where they can.
Oh, it's a tablet.
Yeah, where it's an app for your tablet, so you can use this app to communicate and say what you can't say if you're nonverbal.
Huh.
So I've got a video on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And the thing that's really neat about this is I actually know some people who utilize one of these. And I don't know if it's the same one, if it's Tippy Talk, but Rob Laughlin invented that app because his daughter was suffering from this. And he was like, you know what? Somebody needs to do something about that. And then he went and did it. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
I think that's neat. They say necessity is the mother of invention.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, he was necessity was the father of invention, but he got to invent this thing because his own daughter needed it. And there's so many times in history where you look back and see where things came from, and it's because a mom or a dad or a grandma or a grandpa or somebody had a child or somebody that in their life mattered to them, and they said, you know what? Somebody should do this, and it's going to be me. So that's awesome. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. You're looking at me like I'm nuts over here. What's going on?
Nothing.
Do I have something on my face or something?
No, I was just thinking that if I had a daughter, I would name her Necessity so that she could grow up and have a child and name it Invention, and then they would be the mother of invention. And then you could say that all the time.
Why did I even ask?
This is what was going on in my mind, just so you know.
You just had this weird, funny, smirky look. Like you just figured out some riddle, and now I know what it was. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday.
Time now for a bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. For those of you that watch the National Geographic channel, you may have been checking out this real cool program called Explorer, and they've had a lot of really great programs on this month. And we've got a new one for tonight. And tonight's program, Explorer, is featuring a gentleman that's going to be visiting with the Dalai Lama, and we get to visit with that gentleman right now. On the line with us, we have Michael Ware. How you doing, sir?
Good, John. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to chat. Now, the program is going to be on National Geographic Channel tonight at 10/9 Central, but let's talk a little bit about this. You had a chance to sit down with the Dalai Lama. How long was the interview that you guys had, and how did that all come about?
Well, we actually interviewed several times, and I was with him for about a week. I met His Holiness the Dalai Lama in a small, relatively remote town in northern India, which is actually the birthplace of Buddhism. It's there under a tree, and it's said that Buddha attained enlightenment. So I didn't get to interview him just once. I got to interview him several times, and to spend the week behind the velvet rope with the Dalai Lama. And pardon my voice, I've got a lick of laryngitis.
Oh, yikes. Well, you still sound okay on this end, so we can at least hear you. Now, the program tonight, what can we expect on the program Explorer tonight with the interview with the Dalai Lama?
Well, you get to see a little bit of what it's like to be the Dalai Lama. I mean, can you imagine the extraordinary pressure upon one human being to have to carry the weight of an entire Tibetan belief, an entire Tibetan nation? Now, he's been doing this since he was a boy. I mean, he was discovered as the reincarnation of the 13th Dalai Lama at about 2 years old. And then he took power in his teens. So he's had to carry this burden through a long time and through one of the most historically tumultuous periods for Tibetans that we've ever seen. I mean, the ousting or the Chinese reoccupation or occupation of Tibet has happened in his lifetime. So obviously we talked about that. We talked about what it's like to be a man trying to carry this kind of extraordinary responsibility. We talked about the world. We talked about the violent convulsion that the world is going through right now, and how the world is in some ways being held hijacked or held hostage by people like the Islamic State. And we hear what His Holiness has to say about all of that. I mean, we go and meet one of the great men of modern history, and we get to see just what it's like to walk in his shoes. It was an extraordinary experience, one I'll never forget, and I hope one the viewers will never forget either.
Again, visiting right now with Michael Ware. He is going to be featured tonight on the National Geographic Channel program Explorer. If you get a chance to tune in, it's at 10/9 Central. And then they'll have other episodes that'll air. If you set your DVR, if you can't make it tonight, you catch up to it. But this is really a really cool program that they've had on the entire month of March. And this is a great episode that's scheduled for tonight. Now, how did you get selected, or how did it come about that you got to be the one to do this interview? What is your background?
Well, my background is that, I've been a journalist for over 2 decades. I've been a war correspondent for half of my career. I spent 7 years in Iraq. I spent 2 years in Afghanistan. So a part of the idea was sending, a man broken by war to meet one of the greatest healers on the planet. And the process, bizarrely, and I hope listeners can appreciate this, began in a cheesecake factory here in the United States. His Holiness has a lama, a high church official or a high cleric who's based here in the United States and who represents His Holiness's message of peace here in North America. And I had to meet him
several times, mostly at a cheesecake factory south of Los Angeles, where I was vetted and where my request was ultimately put to His Holiness. And when the Dalai Lama finally said yes, I got to go and meet him during an incredible pilgrimage where at least 200,000 Buddhists descended upon this tiny town in northern India, and where the Dalai Lama oversaw this festival for about 10 days. I mean, the sea of people, the power of this one extraordinary human being and his charisma, and all of what's at stake with Tibet all came to be focused in this one tiny town in this one week.
And you got to be there for it. That's really cool.
It was extraordinarily cool. I mean, seriously, it's something you'll tell your grandchildren about. And, I put it to the Dalai Lama. I said to him, Tibet is lost. It's gone. The Chinese are never giving it back. Yet this is a man who maintains eternal hope. As he says, he's playing the great patient war. He's not trying to, return Tibet tomorrow, but he's looking, in terms of generations. His firm belief is that Tibetan Buddhism will outlast Chinese communism, and that Tibet, the land where the Dalai Lama was born, will return to him. But he also acknowledges that right now is one of the most dangerous periods in history for Tibetan Buddhism, because this Dalai Lama is in his early 80s. Now, traditionally, when a Dalai Lama passes, his successor is ultimately found by clerics and religious figures and the Tibetan government following oracles and signs and dreams until they locate the next Dalai Lama as a child. As I said, this Dalai Lama was found at 2 years of age. He then had to be trained for all those years until he could take power. Now, if that happens again, if this Dalai Lama leaves this world and the Tibetans have to wait another 18 or 20 years for a next Dalai Lama, then that's a very precarious time, because the Chinese could take advantage of this and could try to disrupt the lineage of Dalai Lamas. Indeed, this Dalai Lama told me he may be the last Dalai Lama, but he doesn't give up hope for Tibet, and he doesn't give up hope for Tibetan Buddhism. It was an extraordinarily frank period of time that I spent with His Holiness.
It sounds absolutely fascinating, and we get to live vicariously through you, Michael. And if you want to check it out, again, our guest today is Michael Ware. He'll be featured in the National Geographic Channel's show Explorer, and that is on tonight at 9 Central on the National Geographic Channel. I encourage you to tune in. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.